Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we dive deep into the explosive events unfolding on Tuesday, October 7th, where family betrayals, hidden agendas, and shocking revelations promise to shake Port Charles to its core. The Quartermaine mansion buzzes with tension as the reading of Monica Quartermaine's will takes center stage, drawing together a fractured family haunted by years of power struggles and unspoken resentments. Ned Quartermaine's eyes widen in disbelief when Veronica Ronnie Bard sweeps into the room, her confident stride cutting through the heavy atmosphere like a knife. She declares with a sly smile that she received a personal invitation from Monica herself, hinting at a secret bond forged during late-night conversations about the family's turbulent history. As Ronnie shares intriguing details from that mysterious phone call, where Monica reportedly confided her regrets over past oversights, the air thickens with suspicion, leading to a heated exchange with Tracy Quartermaine, who accuses Ronnie of being an opportunist crashing a private affair. Settling into the opulent living room adorned with portraits of Quartermaine ancestors, Alexis Davis begins reciting the bequests with her usual measured tone, distributing shares of stocks, jewels, and mementos that evoke bittersweet memories for each heir. But the true bombshell detonates at the finale. Monica appears to have willed the entire Quartermaine mansion to Ronnie, a sprawling estate filled with hidden rooms and generational secrets. Leaving the room in stunned silence as jaws drop and whispers erupt, Ned clutches his chair. Olivia gasps in shock, and even the stoic Brooke Lynn feels a pang of injustice. This twist screams of Martin Gray's cunning orchestration, the sly lawyer who has long whispered warnings to Tracy about karma catching up for her ruthless maneuvers, like the time she manipulated ELQ board votes to sideline rivals. In a poetic jab, Ronnie inherits the grand house symbolizing Quartermaine legacy, while Tracy is handed nothing but a quaint jar of Leela Quartermaine's homemade pickled relish, a quirky recipe passed down from the beloved matriarch, now tasting like bitter defeat. It's Martin's final, wicked punchline against Tracy's arrogance. If Martin tampered with the document, perhaps forging signatures during a late-night office visit, the scandal will inevitably unravel through forensic scrutiny or a whistleblower's conscience. But for now, the Quartermaines reel from this seismic shift in their dynasty. Meanwhile, the fallout from Monica's memorial service ignites a fierce legal battle, as Drew Kane channels his mounting rage into a lawsuit against Tracy for physically ejecting him from the somber gathering. In a clandestine meeting at Martin's dimly lit law office, overlooking the stormy Port Charles harbor, Tracy dismisses the claims with a scoff, insisting the incident was merely a firm escort rather than assault, her diamond rings glinting as she waves off any notion of settlement or remorse. Martin, adjusting his glasses with a knowing smirk, outlines the potential damages: lost wages, emotional distress, even reputational harm from the public spectacle. But Tracy digs in her heels, vowing to countersue and drag Drew through the courts, painting him as the real aggressor who disrupted a sacred family right. This defiance only fuels Drew's fire, especially after learning he was conspicuously omitted from Monica's will, a snub that stings deeper than any courtroom loss, reminding him of his perpetual status as the interloping Kane in the elite Quartermaine circle. Feeling more isolated than ever, Drew retreats to his sleek Metro Court suite, poring over old photos of Monica's warm smiles toward him during happier times, his resolve hardening into a plan for calculated retribution against the entire Q clan. Topping his hit list is Michael Corinthos, whose corporate empire at ELQ represents everything Drew craves yet can't grasp. Drew envisions sabotage through anonymous leaks about Michael's shady mergers, or perhaps rallying investors to undermine ELQ's latest green energy venture, all while masking his moves behind a facade of professional networking at upcoming galas. Shifting scenes to the shadowy corridors of the Metro Court Hotel, Britt Westburn emerges from a steamy shower, towel-draped and fuming, only to discover Jason Morgan lounging casually in her suite, his leather jacket slung over a chair amid the scent of fresh coffee he brewed from her minibar. Jason raises his hands in mock surrender, explaining he knocked repeatedly before using his spare key, a remnant from their entangled past of high-stakes adventures and narrow escapes from danger. Britt snatches the key with a glare, her wet hair framing a face etched with exhaustion from dodging WSB shadows, but Jason lingers, compelled to unpack his lingering concerns about her son James West and the botched visit from Nathan West. As he folds a few shirts into his duffel, Jason probes gently, his blue eyes searching hers for the truth behind Britt's abrupt cancellation. Did she fear exposure of James's fragile health? Or was it something darker tied to her espionage double life? Britt deflects with a crafted tale of protecting James from the emotional toll of Nathan's complicated loyalties, suggesting the visit might unearth painful memories of their shared losses, like the ache of Nathan's unresolved death that still haunts her dreams. Jason, ever the optimist in matters of the heart, buys the story with a nod, his faith in Britt's core goodness unwavering despite the red flags, leaving her racked with guilt over the web of Nathan-related deceptions, including fabricated reports to the WSB that could unravel her fragile cover if Jason ever connects the dots during one of his intuitive hunches. In a quieter corner of the floating rib bar, Carly Spencer leans close to Jack Brennan across a scarred wooden table, her voice a hushed torrent as she recounts the grueling interrogation in Anna Devane's dark office, where fluorescent lights buzzed like accusations. Carly fixates on a single slip-vague admission about her underground dealings that might link back to Sonny's operations or her own barroom empire, tormenting herself with visions of federal agents raiding her doorstep at dawn. Brennan, his scarred hands steady as he sips whiskey, counters with calm reassurance, drawing from his own shadowy CIA playbook to affirm that Anna's probe was more fishing expedition than ironclad case, and Carly's resilience has kept her one step ahead. He shares a fabricated anecdote from a past op in Eastern Europe, where a similar confession led to a dead-end trail, bolstering her confidence while secretly plotting his next countermove to divert Anna's suspicions toward a decoy informant. Jocelyn Jack's return to Port Charles injects fresh drama into the Spencer fold, as she breezes into the family home with tales of sun-soaked adventures in Australia, dodging Carly's probing questions about exotic beaches and fleeting romances with a polished smile that hides her true covert escapades. The real test arrives at Bobby's diner, alive with the clatter of plates and aroma of fresh pies, when Britt materializes unexpectedly at their booth, her designer coat a stark contrast to the cozy vibe Jocelyn freezes mid-bite, improvising a wide-eyed act of astonishment at Britt's miraculous survival, as if hearing the news for the first time. Britt, quick on her feet, mirrors the surprise with theatrical flair, spinning a yarn about a narrow escape from a clinic fire that left her reinventing her life in seclusion, all to shield Carly from the bombshell of Jocelyn's WSB recruitment, a path fraught with ethical dilemmas and late-night training sessions in surveillance tactics. As they chat over coffee, Jocelyn's mind races with worrying over Jason's legendary loose-lip swill, his brotherly bond with Carly prompt an accidental spill during one of their late-night stackouts, exposing her double life and fracturing the fragile trust she's rebuilt. Across town, Curtis Ashford grapples with Alexis Davis's urgent warnings in the dim glow of her law office, surrounded by towering stacks of case files on police corruption. Alexis, her red hair tousled from a frantic day, rings alarm bells about mounting evidence tying Curtis to underground dealings, urging him to bolster his alibis with airtight witnesses or even a temporary relocation to a safe house on the outskirts. Curtis, pacing with the weight of his gambling debts and informant ties, brushes off the panic but internally weighs the risks, recalling a close call last year when a raid nearly exposed his network. Portia Robinson, fresh from a shift at General Hospital, crosses paths with Isaiah Gannon in the bustling lobby, their conversation laced with veiled threats as he probes her knowledge of Curtis's habits. Later, Isaiah corners Curtis in a rainy alley behind Kelly's, rain slicking the pavement as he unleashes pent-up grievances, accusations of betrayal from a shared military past, perhaps a botched mission in the Middle East that cost lives, demanding Curtis confess or face vigilante justice. Curtis stands firm, his boxing stance ready, but the encounter leaves bruises on both egos. Finally, in the sterile halls of General Hospital, Portia Robinson sways with an unexpected dizzy spell amid the beeping monitors and scent of antiseptic. Her vision blurring as she grips a nearby cart for support, Elizabeth Baldwin, ever the vigilant nurse with her compassionate gaze, rushes to her side, guiding Portia to a quiet exam room and insisting on vital checks. Blood pressure spikes, hinting at stress from the Curtis saga, or perhaps an overlooked pregnancy complication tied to their reconciliation. As Liz administers a cool compress and calls for Tess, Portia confides fleeting fears about her health derailing their fresh start, underscoring the human fragility amid Port Charles' relentless chaos. Next, we will learn about the chilling possibility of Nathan West and Willow Tate forging an unholy alliance in Port Charles. As whispers from the latest ABC General Hospital spoilers circulate through the shadowy corners of the show, fans are buzzing with speculation about a potential partnership between the once noble Nathan West and the now ruthless Willow Tate. This duo could emerge as the most cunning schemers the town has seen in years, blending Nathan's enigmatic resurrection with Willow's calculated ambition to stir up chaos on an unprecedented scale. Imagine a storyline where their combined intellect and lack of scruples dismantle the fragile peace in Port Charles, targeting key power players like Sonny Corinthos and Nina Reeves in ways that no one anticipates. The setup for this collaboration feels organic yet explosive, drawing from Nathan's murky past and Willow's recent descent into moral ambiguity, promising twists that could redefine alliances across the canvas. Early hints suggest their paths might cross during a high-stakes gala at the Metro Court, where a leaked conversation reveals grievances against the establishment, setting the stage for covert meetings in abandoned docks or hidden safe houses. Nathan West's dramatic re-entry into the General Hospital narrative has already ignited a firestorm of intrigue, but the undercurrents of deception run deeper than surface appearances suggest. While his return was confirmed through irrefutable forensic evidence, fingerprints, and DNA aligning perfectly with the man Port Charles mourned those closest to him, particularly Britt Westburn, sense an unsettling shift that screams foul play. Britt's visceral reaction isn't mere paranoia. It's rooted in years of witnessing her family's entanglement with international spies and mad scientists, making her the perfect barometer for spotting imposters or alterations. Picture Britt pacing the dimly lit corridors of General Hospital, her medical coat disheveled, as she pores over classified files from her mother Liesl Obrich's old network, convinced that Nathan's eyes hold a cold, unfamiliar glint. This discomfort escalates when subtle anomalies appear, like Nathan's uncharacteristic familiarity with cutting-edge surveillance tech that wasn't available during his previous life, hinting at external influences reshaping his core identity. The writers seem poised to unravel this mystery through a series of clandestine flashbacks, revealing how Nathan might have been extracted from his presumed grave by a rogue operative, subjected to experimental procedures in a secret European lab funded by shadowy organizations. Delving further into the enigma of Nathan's revival, the spoilers point toward a labyrinth of scientific trickery that could position him as the elusive mastermind pulling strings from behind the curtain. If Nathan is indeed the hyped, mysterious boss orchestrating recent upheavals like the sabotage of key shipments at the docks or anonymous threats to the Quartermain Empire, the explanation must account for his radical evolution from hero to potential villain. One tantalizing theory involves neural reprogramming, where electrodes and psychoactive drugs have overwritten his ethical compass, turning the once loyal cop into a strategic puppet master who anticipates every move of his adversaries. Alternatively, envision a high-tech memory transfer scenario, where fragments of a deceased villain's psyche, perhaps echoes of the diabolical Caesar Phaeton or the cunning Peter August, have been grafted onto Nathan's brain via black market cybernetics, smuggled into Port Charles. This isn't just speculation. It echoes past GH arcs where identity swaps and mind control have blurred the lines between ally and enemy, such as the infamous Liesl Obrich experiments or the Casadini family's cloning endeavors. Adding a fresh layer, what if a new antagonist, a biotech mogul with ties to the WSB, has engineered this to destabilize the town for corporate gain, using Nathan as the perfect vessel due to his established connections? Such developments would force a re-evaluation of Nathan's relationships, with old friends like Maxie Jones grappling with betrayal as encrypted messages from Nathan expose their vulnerabilities. No longer the paragon of justice that captivated audiences during his earlier tenure, this reimagined Nathan embodies a darker archetype, one that thrives on manipulation and shadows rather than badges and bravery. His transformation manifests in subtle yet sinister ways, a smirk that lingers too long during conversations, a strategic pause before offering help that always comes with hidden strings attached. Port Charles residents might initially welcome him as a ghost returned to aid in ongoing crises, only to discover his agenda prioritizes personal vendettas over communal safety, perhaps targeting Dante Falco Neri for past oversights or infiltrating the PCPD with false intel to sow discord. This villainous pivot could culminate in a pivotal scene where Nathan orchestrates a diversionary explosion at the hospital, masking a larger heist while feigning heroism to deflect suspicion. The implications ripple outward, challenging the moral fabric of the show as viewers question whether redemption is possible or if this Nathan was always harboring a latent darkness suppressed by circumstance. Inventing a new twist, suppose Nathan's altered state grants him enhanced abilities, like photographic memory or subtle hypnosis, allowing him to extract secrets from unwitting confidants during casual encounters at Kelly's diner. Parallel to Nathan's ominous evolution stands Willow Tate, whose journey from steadfast teacher and devoted mother to a calculating operator mirrors the show's penchant for character reinvention through tragedy and temptation. Once a beacon of resilience amid the turmoil of Wiley's custody battles and her ill-fated romance with Michael Corinthos, Willow's heroic facade cracked under the weight of unrelenting betrayals, propelling her toward a path of self-preservation at any cost. Now, she navigates Port Charles with the precision of a chess grandmother, forging deals in whispered alleys and leveraging her nursing credentials to access restricted medical records for blackmail material. Her sinister turn deepens with inventive details. Willow might secretly fund an underground network of informants, trading hospital gossip for favors that bolster her influence over the Corinthos sphere. This shift isn't abrupt. It's built on layers of resentment, from Nina's meddling in her family life to the constant threats from Apex competitors, pushing her to embrace ruthlessness as survival. In a newly crafted subplot, Willow could be seen experimenting with anonymous online personas to manipulate public opinion, posting veiled spoilers about rivals that erode their reputations before strikes land. The budding connection between Willow and Nathan adds fuel to the fire of this potential partnership, rooted in a familial thread that the show could exploit for dramatic irony and tension. Though their uncle-niece dynamic stems from convoluted Corinthos family ties, Willow as a distant relative through adoption, Nathan linked via his Western lineage, they share an unspoken understanding forged in isolation and loss. Spoilers tease early interactions where Willow encounters Nathan at a tense family gathering, their eyes locking in mutual recognition of shared pain, perhaps over a toast to forgotten bloodlines that hints at collaborative intent. Whether biologically intertwined or not, this bond evolves into a kinship of outcasts, united by disdain for the town's elite and a hunger for control. Expanding on this, imagine joint strategy sessions in a secluded cabin outside Port Charles, where they map out contingencies using old WSB blueprints Nathan smuggles in. While Willow provides insider intel from her hospital shifts, their synergy promises fireworks. Nathan's tactical prowess complemented by Willow's emotional intelligence, creating a duo that anticipates betrayals before they unfold. This alliance might first manifest in a subtle sabotage of a major wedding, say, between Brooke Lynn and Chase, disrupting alliances and clearing paths for their ascent. Envisioning the scope of Nathan and Willow's mutually beneficial pact, it becomes a web of schemes designed to elevate them while toppling obstacles in Port Charles. Their objectives align seamlessly. Nathan seeks to dismantle rival networks threatening his mysterious overlord status, while Willow aims to secure leverage over her ex's empire, perhaps by exposing Michael's business vulnerabilities or swaying custody rulings in her favor. In this invented escalation, they could orchestrate a multi-phase operation involving forged documents that implicate Sonny in international laundering, forcing him into a corner where he must negotiate with them unknowingly. The partnership thrives on reciprocity, Nathan shielding Willow from scrutiny with fabricated alibis, her in turn supplying him with pharmaceutical enhancements to sustain his reprogrammed vigor. Such a dynamic not only heightens the stakes, but introduces moral dilemmas for peripheral characters, like Sasha Gilmore torn between loyalty to Willow and fear of Nathan's reach. Ultimately, this collaboration could spawn a new era of fear in the town, with residents whispering about the West Tate Syndicate as black sedans prowl the waterfront at night. As the dust settles on these brewing conspiracies, ABC General Hospital fans can't help but ponder the volatile future of Nathan and Willow's entanglement. Will their messy partnership devolve into backstabbing, or solidify into a diabolical force that reshapes Port Charles forever? Could external forces like a vengeful Anna Devane intervene, unraveling their plans before they peak? The spoilers promise a cascade of shocking revelations about Nathan's true origins, potentially exposing the hand of long-dormant villains and cascading effects on everyone from the Q family to the Spencers. Stay tuned as we deliver the latest updates on these twists and their far-reaching consequences for the iconic soap.